What's going on, guys? MariK here. Last week we covered all of the maps for the classic Battlefront 1 game, went over their layouts, and talked strategy for each of the various factions. This week we'll be talking about the maps in Battlefront 2, going over the changes to the maps that have come from the first game, discussing strategies for the new maps that are new to the second game, and going over various strategies for each faction on each map. The Death Star map is easily one of the most hazardous maps in the entirety of Battlefront 2, with 4 of the 6 command posts having places that you can just fall straight to your death. The Empire and the droids spawn with the 3 command posts on the right side, being the tractor beam east, the detention block, and what I'm labeling as empty hangar at the bottom. The Rebels and the clones get the tractor beam west command post, the Death Star firing chamber command post, and the loaded hangar. When playing as the Empire or the droids, it's probably the easiest strategy to spawn at the empty hangar and head straight for the loaded hangar command post, as most of the AI are going to be heading towards the firing chamber and going around towards the tractor beam command posts. So this command post is left fairly open, and as you can see, it's completely uncontested. So unless an enemy spawns here, as one just did to try and prevent us from taking it, it's a pretty easy steal and put your team in the early lead with a 4-2 to the command posts. Once you've taken the hangar bay, you can head straight into the room where Darth Vader choked one of the Grand Moffs right before Tarkin's very eyes, demonstrating the power of their sorcerer's ways. And then you can continue on, towards the Death Star firing chamber. It does lead you across some bridges that have, just death holes in the middle of them, and lead you into another chamber with another death hole. It's really not my preferred way to go. It is seeming to be a very successful and smart way to go, so I may explore this route a little bit further once the Classic Collection is released and I've had more time to get back to playing the game online. However, that's this corner. Yep, they heard me. They said, well, it's not tough enough for you. We're going to go ahead and make it tough for you. I don't usually take the firing chamber from this side, so it's a little bit different for me. The worst thing about trying to take this command post is they spawn all around you, and it becomes very, very dangerous trying to take this command post. But the command post itself is fairly safe. There's the laser charging up right there. There is this walkway that goes down and around over there. We'll explore that a little bit more when we're playing as a different faction. Or, we'll go ahead and do that right now. I didn't realize we already won. My now old strategy was to spawn at the east tractor beam and head straight for the west tractor beam. Depending on how many enemies spawn at this lower ramp over here, you could get yourself a couple kills, as you saw us do. Grenades are your best friend in that instance. But this is a very open area, so it's very easy for enemies to shoot at you. You can also take this back platform here, which is probably the way I'm going to go right now, and probably the way I should have always gone. You have to be very careful when evading so that you don't roll right off the freaking map, because it is very easy to lose place of where the edge of these platforms is. It'd probably be a really great command post if you were playing as the Jet Trooper, just because you could kind of more easily get across the different platforms without completely getting, just decimated or blown off. Or but I would say that the Dark Trooper, as I'm playing right now, is probably not the safest bet, even though we did just sit there and completely wipe out the remaining forces. The downside to going this way, though, blasted right in the teeth, is this bridge right here. And I will go ahead and I'll demonstrate, since we were talking about it earlier. There is a... Damn it. There is a bridge control on the other side of this bridge that you can kind of see it from the glowing right there. If you shoot it, well, if they wouldn't run out in front of me and just take headshots, if they would just let me shoot the control panel, But, you know, they don't want that to happen. And really, I don't want that to happen for our team either, because it will drop a section of this bridge. I don't remember what section. For the moment, I'll go ahead and show you guys down here, though. If you go down this walkway down here, this chamber will take you straight into the command post. When the laser fires, it won't actually hit you down here. So you can watch it nice and glowing and pretty, and this is what, you know, Alderaan would have seen if they'd looked up at the sky. And there it goes. This also does give you a way to go ahead and get up behind the enemies and take this command post by surprise. So if you're playing as a Dark Trooper, it's definitely a good option. But you do have to be careful because they can spawn up behind you and kill you when you are not prepared for it. When playing as the clones or the rebels, you have the similar strategy of going from the loaded hangar into the empty hangar. This hangar bay is a little bit larger though, so you do have to be careful and attempt to wait until they've all cleared out and headed towards the detention block. I'm usually not that patient, but again, it's not really that big of a deal. The hangars are usually... I'm used to the hangars being the last command posts that are taken by either faction, so it's kind of weird to fight for these command posts so early on. But again, it's a fairly simple command post to take, gives your team an early lead, an early 4-2 on the command posts. There's this side hallway that branches off right here. I would never go into it because it just takes you to this control room right here. It does give you a little bit of a vantage point over the command post, but it's not really that helpful, I don't think. It does give you this other hallway you can go down over here that takes you to the back of the command post. Then from there, you can take the detention center. This is usually one of the hardest command posts to take because there's just so much shit that happens in it. And no matter which side you're fighting down, it's an awful command post to try and take. Like, just the vantage point is terrible. You're stuck in this hallway. You've got to fight your way out of it. It's a death trap for grenades. It's a death trap for you from allies, as you saw. That clone just got blasted by another clone trooper. And this one's harder to take for similar reasons that the other tractor beam is hard to take. You just have to be as quick as you can with it. And then once you have it, you run, or, like I'm doing, hop over to the other tractor beam command post and just start blasting. The advantage that playing as the droids have that the clones and the rebels don't have is the droideka. Because these platforms are already pretty shy for space as it is, there's no really getting around it, and there's really nowhere to go to hide from them either. Your other option is to spawn at the tractor beam west and attempt to take tractor beam east. This is a fun way to play this map. This is usually the way I play this map, even though, again, I think the taking the hangar strategy might be a better alternative, because this forces you to then go into the detention block, which, as you can see, is currently being blocked by a bunch of droids, and it's a difficult one to take, but it's an easy one to kind of route them through as well, because you are pretty much putting them in a corner, and then you just hose them with either bullets, grenades, whatever you may choose. And it's, all in all, it's two different strategies that have two different sets of merits, but this is literally a death hallway. It is a hallway that is a bloodbath. Don't make that jump if you are not confident that you can make it. Droidekas are a nightmare once they've deployed on this, at this part of the map. But if you manage to take them out before they have popped out, then they're fairly easy to kill if you've got the time to put the bullets in them. You can actually go into some of the detention cells, and you know, it gives you a little bit of cover, but it also severely traps you, and I don't know that I'd recommend it. As you saw from where that clone trooper came out, though, and that clone trooper came out, there's this hallway right here that leads back this way towards the tractor beam command post, and if you go this way, it leads to another entryway into the detention block command center. This is probably the safer way to go. It definitely seems like you had the better command post vantage points going from hangar to hangar instead of trying to take the hangar last. So I don't know how I feel about it because this is really... it's really chaotic, and it's so cramped. So that's going to be our strategic map overview for the Death Star. This map always goes really fast, no matter which faction you seem to be playing as. I don't know if just allies and enemies alike are just falling off because 4 of the command posts are over, basically a death pit. But the hangars are usually the last command post to be taken, regardless of which faction you're playing, regardless of which path you're taking along the command posts. Most of the action I find happens in the detention block and the firing chamber, but of course it's going to start out at the tractor beams because those are the 2 spawn points that are closest together that just have sight lines going from one straight to the other. So snipers, rifles, everything, it can just see you, and it gets really hectic over there. And if you're not careful trying to evade a grenade or dodge, hide behind cover, keep someone from shooting you, and you might just off yourself right off the edge. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection comes out in just 2 weeks, so we hope to see you on the Battlefront.